Riley Magnuson. This is East Coast Sports Investors closing bell for Monday, June 19th. I am going to be the solo host today, so probably going to keep things short and sweet. Got a new studio on my hands, new apartment, new studio for specifically podcasting. Sounds like there might be an echo in here, so if I have any issues going on, let me know. And I will try and get that fixed the best as I can. Evening, Connor. But I'm hearing myself echo a little bit, so hopefully there's no audio issues going on. So trying new things out. We'll have to adjust if it's no good. But at the end of the day, things are going to be short and sweet today because, A, I am solo by myself today, and there is just baseball on baseball today, as probably going to be for a decent chunk of the rest of the summer here. But not only a baseball slate, full baseball slate, but a shorter baseball slate with it being Monday. So we'll breeze right through it. I know there's one going on right now, and then a handful, maybe 10 or so up the rest of the evening. So we'll breeze right through it. But quick recap for the weekend. Obviously had the U.S. Open this past weekend. Wasn't here on Thursday and Friday to talk to you, but I told you to go check out my blog. I mentioned some of my picks on the show. I had a solid week for myself. Missed out on a couple close ones that would have had us on maybe a huge payday, one of our bigger paydays in the week, or of the golf season, pardon me. But still, I believe 1.7 unit positive. Had some good Tom Kim props. Xander Schauffele, top 10, got to the window. And then Cantlay bogeying 17 and 18 to fall outside of the top 10. I can't remember if only one par would have got the job done or if he needed to par both of them. But he fell out of the top 10, so lost that one completely. But nonetheless, Tom Kim, 850 for top 10, I believe. Nice 330 for top 20 or something like that. So Tom Kim got us to where we needed to go, that's for sure. And Xander, despite basically the two-day meltdown, held strong enough, treaded water enough to keep us in the top 10 there. So we are glad to have that going on. And glad to tackle a major with some success. So that's never the easiest thing to do. But we're moving on and getting our set on the rest of the season here with PGA. Only one more major left, but plenty of good action to go. So aside from that, I don't think I talked too much about the UFC this past weekend. There was one bigger fight for sure as far as Cannonier Vettori. Cannonier gets the win there. I don't think I talked about that one at all. But we will have a pay-per-view in a couple of weeks here. Maybe 2 more weeks before we get that pay-per-view, 3 weeks, either way. But aside from that, we'll dive mostly right into MLB tonight. I know I don't have as much of an angle from a gambling perspective for you, but Tennessee Stanford, if you're looking for some action right now, elimination game in the bottom of the 8th. Tennessee up on Stanford, 6-4 in the bottom of the 8th, an elimination game in the College World Series there. And I know LSU Wake Forest is also tonight. But that one's double elimination. So a little less stakes. The losers still got another chance to survive. Winner moves on, obviously. So college baseball has been, this College World Series has been a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into baseball. Probably get out of here in the next 15, 20 minutes or so, maybe even less, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games remaining. Only one going on right now is the 10th game. Cardinals down 2-5. In the top of the 4th in Washington there. And aside from that, we've got another hour and a half or so until we've got a couple starting up here. So let's dive right into it. Kansas City and Detroit. This one's an interesting one, obviously. You've got, again, coincidentally enough, I keep popping in for Mr. Lyles' shows here, or starts here on my shows. Lyles versus Reese Olson. Lyles, if you hear me talking about it, he's been a little better lately, but in 14 starts, I think he's 0-11. In 14 starts, the Kansas City Royals have not won a single one of Jordan Lyles' starts here. He gave a 5 earned run last time out. He's facing Reese Olson for Detroit tonight. Young rookie for Detroit. 6 earned run last time out. He's had some flashes of being pretty good. 6 earned run last time out, though. For Kansas City, I believe Saturday they snapped a 10-game losing streak. Lost yesterday to get things back on the L train, unfortunately for them. And Detroit actually ended a rough stretch that they had been in the midst of with taking 3 out of 4 from Minnesota. At 30-40, believe it or not, they are 5 games out of the AL Central. So as much as I am jumping for joy as a White Sox fan to not have my season 100% done and over with here, I had a pretty similar record. Obviously, Detroit has a kind of a scrappy team a little bit there. only 5 games out and just had a big series win over Minnesota there. So as far as tonight's game goes, though, let me pull up tonight's odds for this one. Detroit minus 145 now. It is coming down a little bit. I could see Reese Olson having a nice bounce back here. Like I said, his numbers on the surface don't look good. He has had a nice couple of starts here. Really, it was the last time out that is ballooning that number up quite a bit. His first start, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs. Next time out, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, and then it was last time against Atlanta, the blow up there. So against Kansas City, he could absolutely put together a nice one. You would like to see Detroit as the home team in this one be a bit bigger favorites against a guy that hasn't won a single start this season and has an ERA himself, and Jordan Lyles almost at 7. So I am pumping the brakes on this one, especially after Detroit had a nice weekend. So I think I think I've been on the keep an eye on Jordan Lyles and don't completely fade away on him because some of these odds are a little funky. I'm not saying he's going to be fantastic, but it wouldn't surprise me if Kansas City's offense is okay today. This one just doesn't seem as good as you would expect in a team in Kansas City to have lost and a bit as bad as they've been lately. Detroit coming off the stretch they've been having and now having Jordan Lyles coming into town. Doesn't seem like a total home run to be in Detroit tonight. Could I see them win? Absolutely. They could put up 8 runs on Jordan Lyles. But at the end of the day, Reese Olson obviously is a little concerning there. He could have a couple bad ones in a row as he's getting used to this MLB game speed here. But I would be aware of this one. I think you're better off saving your money on Detroit and Kansas City there. So moving on, Toronto and Miami. Jose Barrios and I don't know how to pronounce Hoeing. Brian Hoeing, his name for Miami there. That is going to be a bullpen outing most likely for Miami, I do believe. He did start a couple games early, and I think he's had a handful of days off, so this might be a little longer than he's been going, but at the end of the day, I don't love these starts typically. And Barrios, if you've been listening to Jeff and I talk about Barrios going back to last year, and I think even last time I said if Jose Barrios puts a nice start together, you might be seeing me start to fade away on him. But at the end of the day, these numbers are keeping me away from it. The odds as far as that is concerned, 7 2/3, 3 hits, no runs last time out, 1 walk, 5 Ks. Hasn't allowed more than 3 earned runs in over a month and a half. So Jose Barrios has been really, really good, and it's about the time where I'm ready to expect some serious regression. But the numbers aren't quite telling you that's what's going to happen tonight. So I am a little concerned about it. I don't love it. I am going to lean towards that. If I had to lean towards anything, would be Jose Barrios regression. But at the end of the day, I am a little tentative on it. You've got Miami as a home team, 41-31, as a swift underdog for the most part here. A total of 8 as the game total. And as far as Toronto's concerned, lost 3 of their last 4. Still a hefty favorite, fairly hefty favorite. Miami's won 4 in a row here. So I'm going to go with another. I'm kind of leaning towards another nice Jose Barrios start and Toronto victory again here tonight. So as much as I hate to say it with what I was talking last week about Jose Barrios, and if I eat crow and he's got an awful start, then I'll go ahead and take what I said last week as a better advice. I'm staying away from it at the end of the day. That's kind of where I'm at with it, but I don't know. I think we might have another Jose Barrios solid start on our hands tonight. So I'm going to move past that one as well. Chicago and Pittsburgh is an interesting one. You've got Drew Smyly versus I'm drawing a blank on his first name, Bido for the Pirates. MLB debut last time against this Cubs team last week. 4 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, making his second start in the MLB against the same team here. Drew Smyly last time out, 9 hits, 5 earned runs last time out. And this Cubs team 7-2 there last night. And credit to them, they've had a really good week. This Pirates team, they swept the Pirates. This Pirates team has lost 6 games in a row. All in the division, 3 games to the Cubs, 3 games to Milwaukee. So this is after obviously a very surprising start and being a lot better than to this point, even still with where their record's at. And of course, a few weeks ago, whatever they were, playing above their skis, still at a point where they're in a very, very winnable division. So this is a big series for both these teams here. 4 teams within 4 games. Obviously, the Cardinals still on that 5th team on the outside looking in, but 4 teams within 4 games of each other: Milwaukee, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and then Chicago. So this is a big series here at this point for Pittsburgh to potentially kind of fight off this ugly stretch that's been happening, obviously. or to continue falling into that, and obviously the Cubs to continue building off of what they have been doing this last week and a half or so with the division that is increasingly looking more and more winnable. Cubs losing yesterday to end their streak that they had. Pirates, as I mentioned, still going through this ugly streak. Rough offensive lately, as of late. Total is at 9 in this one. So if you like the Pirates in this one to bounce back from what they had, I would be more interested in the team total, honestly. A guy in Beto facing a team in his second MLB start that he faced his first time out and had a nice start for the Californians the first time. I'm a little concerned that he's going to regress. But I've been talking about Drew Smyly regressing as well. So it really would not surprise me if Pittsburgh offense finds a way to bounce back today. But at the end of the day, I am concerned about this Cubs offense against Beto. I apologize. I don't know the exact pronunciation there. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stay away from this one and kind of expect a nice offensive output from both of this one. I'll go with the 6-5 win one way or another. I know that's kind of leaning towards the over. Not saying that's too good to be true, but I'll go towards the over on this one between the Cubs and Pirates. Over 9 runs in that one. Colorado and Cincinnati, you've got Austin Gomber and Williamson. In Cincinnati's case, Colorado 8-game win streak. Cincinnati 8-game win streak. Colorado 5-game losing streak. Austin Gomber 6 hits, 3 earned runs last time out against Boston. Williamson 6 starts so far as a rookie. So this is start number 7. 3 earned runs last time out against Kansas City. He's been a little hit or miss. But Gomber, obviously, 7.29 ERA, 4-6 record. He has been absolutely all over the place. If he's given up 3 earned runs like he did against Boston, that's definitely a win for the Rockies for their consideration with Gomber on the mound there. Total is 10.5 here. So it is tough to get into the Reds with their winning streak here and with where Colorado has been. Colorado's pitching staff has been abysmal lately. What is this? 8 or more runs in each of the last 4 games. That was all against Atlanta. But going back against Boston before that, it was not pretty either. So, and Cincinnati's offense cooking right along right now. This win streak that they've been on, they just put up 9 and 10 these last 2 games against Houston. So as much as I don't like a team to put up that many runs, it would not surprise me if they kept it rolling right into today. I think they could put up a nice boatload of runs today. It would not surprise me. I'm going to stay away from it, but Austin Gomber, as much as I am a person who likes regression and reverse regression and whatnot, Austin Gomber is just flat out bad, and honestly, a 3 earned run start, as I mentioned, was good last time, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's going the opposite way there. So Colorado's offense could absolutely put up a boatload of runs on Cincinnati, so I'm not necessarily saying Cincinnati's in for an easy win because Williamson, in his own right, hasn't been very good, and would not surprise me at all if he's not very good there tonight. But I'm going to stay away from the 2 trains that are going on here, and maybe based off of what happens tonight, I could be interested in something for this series tomorrow. I'm not sure off the top of my head who is starting tomorrow. I don't think they have those listed. But an evening game, evening start time, 6:10 my time tomorrow night as well. So I might be more interested in something with that one tomorrow. Moving on down the line, Boston and Minnesota. Kind of a nice little series here. 37-35 Boston, 36-36 Minnesota. Your first place AL Central Minnesota Twins there. Paxton versus Lopez. The starting pitching matchup. I believe this is maybe the second best pitching matchup of the night. It's one of the top 3, I'd say, at least, if that means anything. Paxton has been actually really solid if you've been paying attention at all. I think he's got 1 ugly starts, 5 earned runs allowed. The last time out, 6 innings, 1 unearned run against Colorado in his last outing. Lopez has been a little bit of regression there in May. He's still been fairly solid. His hit total has been staying down. 4 hits, 3 earned runs last time out. So he just hasn't really been getting out of jams. So at some point, I think that's going to turn around there. Boston's got a 4-game win streak. Their offense has been moving along on a nice clip during that streak. And then I mentioned with the Twins, Detroit took 3 out of 4 from them this past weekend here. Their pitching was ugly there. So now with Lopez on the mound, and like I said, I think you could see him starting to navigate some jams a little better as we get moving on to it. So I think this one could be a really good game. But at the end of the day, I am going to lean towards Minnesota. With Lopez having a nice start tonight. I kind of like the first 5 for Boston, just what I'm saying there. But it wouldn't surprise me. Like I said, Paxton's been really, really solid, kind of under the radar solid, and would not surprise me if he can keep that moving along. So I am going to lean towards the Twins to win this game. Lopez having a nice start, getting out of some jams. If he gets into them, might not even get into too many jams there. And this Twins team may be winning a 4-3 type game or 4-2 type game or something along those lines. So I could see. I'm interested to see how this series progresses. These pitching matchups could change a little bit these next couple of days, but at the end of the day, I think it's a little inflated if you're looking at Minnesota. So I would have preferred to get into this one earlier in the day, open up about minus 130. So still leaning towards the Twins, but I would have loved to catch them closer to that number, minus 130, as opposed to the minus 145 or wherever you're seeing at 150 now. But I will lean towards a nice Lopez start tonight for Minnesota. I think 4 more games here. Let's jump over to my White Sox. Don't have as much information on this one, at least on the White Sox pitching side of things. Tanner Bake's getting a late nod with, I believe, Clevenger going down on the injured list for the White Sox. Lost 2 out of 3 to Seattle, 3 fairly tight games. White Sox win the second one, lose last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say. Texas, on the other hand, 4-7 their last 11. They have not really been clipping along like they were there. Heaney for the Texas Rangers, he's been fine, kind of hit or miss. And then as far as the White Sox is concerned, Tanner Bakes is going to be coming back tonight. So really a question mark as far as he is concerned. You've got the White Sox as the home team tonight, right around plus 115. So I'll lean towards a nice White Sox offensive outing. Obviously got to take that with a grain of salt, but I could absolutely see them going over 4.5 runs back at home off of the West Coast trip. Maybe a little travel bug, but they always have a rough time when they're on the West Coast, and then they come back, and it's a little nice home cooking for them there. So Texas did win their last 2. I mention they're 4-7 in their last 11. They took 2 out of 3 from Toronto this weekend, though. 11-7 victory yesterday. Not sure what you're going to get from the White Sox pitching staff tonight. I really have no idea. I do like their offense to kind of bounce back and give some issues for Heaney back home in Chicago. So that's where I'm leaving it. Obviously, you got to take my word with a grain of salt when the White Sox are concerned there, but that is where I am leaning tonight. Arizona and Milwaukee, next one up. This is the best pitching matchup of the night. I mentioned pitching matchups. Merrill Kelly, Corbin Burnes. For these two teams, Merrill Kelly, 3 earned runs or less in each of his last 6. However, he has had a little bit of a walk issue, kind of usually what his issue is, but seems a little more consistently 3+ walks these last handful of starts. And Burnes, 7 hits, 3 earned runs in his last time out. That was a little bit of a regression after some nice stretches there. Arizona 2-4 in their last 6. Had a rough pitching week last week. Now happy to see Merrill Kelly on the mound. Brewers swept Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, with 5 runs in each game after breaking their own 6-game losing streak for for Milwaukee's case there. So had a rough stretch, kind of back on it with their feet underneath them there in Milwaukee. Now back at home, or they were back at home here in Pittsburgh. Got off to a nice roll there with their decent offense, decent pitching, obviously. Arizona, I mentioned. 2-4 in the last 6. They also took 2 out of 3 from Cleveland, however, this past weekend. So offense was actually decent in a couple of those games there. So I am kind of torn on this one. I am leaning, honestly, a little closer to Arizona in this one. I would like some bigger odds, bigger favorite odds if I'm looking at Milwaukee with Corbin Burnes on the mound. You can make the argument that Merrill Kelly's been better than Corbin Burnes, but with Corbin Burnes at home after they just won 3 in a row, I'd like them to be, even against Merrill Kelly, I'd like them to be at least minus 135, minus 140. So something does feel a little goofy here. I'm going to lean towards Arizona getting the win here. Obviously, they are a few games better than them in the record books there. But at the end of the day, I'm going to lean towards Arizona and a better Merrill Kelly start, maybe edging out Corbin Burnes by a couple runs here through the first 5-6 innings there. And Corbin Burnes maybe sticks closer to what he was last time, 3 earned runs. So not in love with it, but I'm going to lean towards Arizona there. Mets and Houston. Mets not continuing to play some ugly baseball. Offense has been a lot better these last few, but teams still pretty ugly. They just lost 2 out of 3 in St. Louis. Offense, as I mentioned, 6 and 7 runs in 2 of those 3 games. Lost 3-5. The other one there lost 7-8 yesterday. Houston's actually lost 4 in a row here. Offense fine yesterday, 7-9, but obviously the pitching these last 2 days has not been there. Max Scherzer on the mound for the Mets. Houston will start Brown. I'm drawing a blank on his first name. Goodness. Hunter Brown, my bad. Hunter Brown for the Houston Astros. Scherzer, 5 and 6 earned runs his last 2 times out. Brown, 7 innings, 4 hits, 0 earned runs his last time out. So he's actually shown some really nice flashes of being pretty good. 6 and 3 record, 3.35 ERA there. But Scherzer obviously is the question mark with how he's been looking lately. Going to be a lightning rod guy, going to get a lot of attention as an underdog there. It is in Houston, and it is a Houston team that's looking for a bounce back. So this one is a really tough one to call. If you love Houston to continue this, to break their 4-game losing streak, which is obviously rare in Houston, with Hunter Brown pitching fairly well recently, it is a tough pill to swallow to see a third straight Max Scherzer bad outing. So honestly, if you're sold 100% on a Scherzer bounce back after 2 bad ones, then jump into the Mets. If you're sold on Scherzer not being Scherzer anymore, or not at least not being 100% Scherzer, and Houston still being Houston, then dive into Houston. I could see both ways on this one. So I'm going to back off. This will be popcorn for me. And at the end of the day, I'll lean towards Scherzer, but I don't love the underdog status there when Scherzer's on the mound. It doesn't matter what's going on there. So I'll back off of it, but I'll lean towards Scherzer. San Diego and San Francisco. San Francisco, actually both these teams playing a lot better right now. Giants 7-game winning streak, 7+ runs in their last 5. San Diego 7-3 in their last 10. So welcome wins coming along a lot more consistently for San Diego there. Michael Wacha on the mound for San Diego has been really, really good. Part of that, one of the better spots, bright spots of this San Diego team, arguably the brightest spot at this point, honestly. 2 earned runs or less in each of his last 7 games, 0 earned runs in each of his last 2. And then Ryan Walker on the mound for San Francisco appears to be a full bullpen start for them. So I typically don't like getting into those. But you've got San Francisco as not quite the clear, they're not the favorite in this one. San Diego -115. Giants down at -105, 102. A little different there. So this one's tough for me. I'm going to lean towards maybe San Francisco. Honestly, after a 7-game winning streak, this one's tough to call because Michael Wacha has obviously been as good as he's been, and now San Diego, the more they turn around, people are going to start looking to them. So it's another tough one to call. This is not a board that I've been in love with today by any means. And as far as Wacha is concerned, I do like what I've seen there. I would like to see some regression. But I would have respected San Francisco as -120 favorites at home with a 7-game winning streak. So wouldn't shock me at all if Wacha is time due for some regression. If you've been riding the San Francisco train, then keep the San Francisco train riding. Don't be like a person that pops it open and had no idea that San Francisco was on a 7-game win streak and then say, oh, geez, San Francisco's on a 7-game win streak and now they're at home. I'm going to try and jump onto it. Probably not going to work out for you, and if it does, it's not going to work out for more than a game or 2. So don't be that person there. If you have been on San Francisco for the last 6-7 games, then absolutely keep riding it. If you've been on Wacha for the last however many games, then keep riding it. So this one is a tough one. Going to be a popcorn one for me. I don't really have too much interest. I have not been on either of those trains. I've been paying attention to Wacha. I've been expecting some regression. But as the -115 favorite, -120 in the first 5, not saying I'm definitely all in on Wacha, but I'm less interested in the 7-game win streak in San Francisco. So I will lean towards Michael Wacha and the Padres on this one, though. But again, this is a board that I'm not totally in love with. Don't have really any situation where I'm over the moon about something. So I apologize, but I'm not as much help today as I'd like to be. But hopefully I can tell you to be aware of a few things. As I'm speaking, Cardinals tie it up in the top of the 5th, 5-5. Or it is tied 5-5. I don't know if they physically tied it up this inning or not, but tied 5-5 after being down 5-2. So some runs, I know for a certain handful of people is definitely what you're looking for there as far as a first 5 victory and team total. But at the end of the day, I did have one home run prop lean, and that is going to be in the Minnesota and Boston game, and that is going to be 4-1 odds on Mr. Carlos Correa to hit a home run against James Paxton. He is 11 for 24. He doesn't have any home runs out of 11 and 24, but he's 11 and 24 lifetime versus Paxton with 5 RBIs there. So I will go with a one actually getting out of the park here. He was 2 for 3 yesterday. So I'm going to lean on him, kind of keeping things rolling a little bit into today, and I'll go with a 4-1 shot at him getting out of the park there. Now, actually, Cardinals 6-5 in the top of the 5. So the runs are pouring in there in the top of the top of the 5th. A 3-run bomb and a solo bomb there. So I know, if I'm not mistaken, one of the early plays for ECSI was the Cardinals' first half run line, so I am not going to shout out anything because it's still going in the first 5. But there was some pizza and beer money, I do believe, on the over 5.5 for the Cardinals team total. So I will give it up for that one. No duck boats and parades yet because the Cardinals are still going, so I don't want to put my foot in my mouth there. But the over 5.5 on the pizza and beer money from Mr. Jeff Dawson gets there. So stay tuned for the rest of the 5th inning there as the Cardinals look to close that one out. But as always, make sure you're getting on, I don't know what the exact words to use in the exact situation is, but obviously get up in there on the VIP list for Mr. Dawson. It is obviously where you need to be. So I know he and the team have been absolutely murdering MLB props as of late. I do that a little sporadically, but they've been crushing that one there. So without further ado, I believe that is all that I've got for everybody today. I apologize I don't have any better, stronger picks that I like on the MLB board tonight. Have some fun with it, though. If you've got anything you like, grab some popcorn for the college baseball games. I don't know. I know I mentioned the first one that was happening in real time. Tennessee gets the 6-4 win over Stanford, so I missed the end of that one. But you got LSU Wake Forest tonight. Number 5 versus number 1 tonight at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock Eastern time there on ESPN. So should be a fun one. And then I believe we've got a couple of elimination games coming down the pipe tomorrow. So things are going to be fun in the world of college baseball there this next week and week and a half or so. So stay tuned. And as much as I can't help you with any odds on that, I know there are some people that come on the show that do some great odds on great advice and odds on college baseball. So stay tuned. I know Mr. Jeffrey Dawson's a lot more tapped into it than I am. I grabbed the popcorn for that one. But nonetheless, thank you all for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I will see you all the rest of this week. I believe I should be good for 5 straight days this week. So you will see me on the closing bell each and every day this week. Nonetheless, thank you all for stopping by. Thanks for having a great weekend with me on the golf course. And let's roll that into this week and have a great weekend as well. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by.